And the fourth argument he gives is from verses 39 to 43. So let's read that, text 39. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme naste kulam krishnam dharmo bhavati uta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in a religion. Let's read first, and then we'll discuss all this text. Adharmadi bhavat Krishna pradusyanti kulastriya Srishu dustasu vaishneya Jayate varna shankara. When a religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny. Text 41. Shankara narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha matanti pitaro hi esham lupta pindo daka kriya. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. So here in text 39, if you look carefully, he is afraid that when he fights with all these soldiers, he's going to cause family destruction. And one of the problems he's afraid of is elderly people. He says if the elderly people are gone, then the whole dynasty's traditions are all lost also. So he doesn't want to be part of that. And if family traditions stop, then people will not practice religious things. They, if you put a group of people who are kids in an island, after sometimes you go and see they'll be acting like animals. Yeah. Because they have no one to train them to follow traditions. So therefore he is afraid the family traditions will be stopped. And that will make people uncultured actually. And then the other point he's afraid of is women. In general, women are supposed to be protected. If the women are not protected, then unscrupulous men will take advantage of them. So if all these warriors are gone, and they are dead, then the whole village or town is bereft of capable men protecting the women. So unscrupulous men will come, they will charm the ladies, and they then have unwanted progeny. So that is why he is afraid. So Chanaka Pandit says that women need to be protected. This is very, it is a basis. You protect the woman, then you protect the culture. Very nicely. So Vedic culture is based on that, protection of the woman. It's very important. Otherwise, a lot of problems will arise because of that. If the women are not protected, what is the problem that comes about? Okay, that's the answer Arjuna gives, but what's the other problem? Irreligion, yeah. The other thing is, protection doesn't mean you put them in the house and lock. That is not the protection. That means you also, how you behave with them, how you treat them also. For example, a husband and a wife. In Vedic culture, the husband is supposed to treat the wife with respect. Like a, like what? Goddess of fortune. So how many of you treat your wife like goddess of fortune? Actually, that is the rule.
But if they are not behaving, then...
No, the problem is, actually, according to Shastra, the men cannot treat the woman badly at all. Even if she says things that hurt you, you are supposed to tolerate. That is why you are a man. But the problem nowadays is, men don't have good qualities also. Therefore, the women feel unprotected.
Actually, they are saying they don't feel protected.
Yeah, so that is the other problem, because in previous ages the men were very qualified and the women felt protected. But in Kali Yuga, the men are so unqualified, the women don't feel protected, so they said, you don't protect me, I will protect us. So therefore you have the chaos situation. And so this is the problem nowadays, you find. So according to Arjuna, this is in a previous age, he's saying, in general, women are innocent and they need to be protected. Otherwise, these men will come around to bewilder them, and because of their innocence, they act foolishly or unintelligently. And think, oh, this man is nicer than my husband. So that's where their trap is. So anyone who sweet talks a woman, they feel, oh, this man is very nice to me. They feel protected. It's a psychology thing. But as I said, nowadays men are unqualified. Women are also unqualified, so what to do? So what we do is we chant Hare Krishna, and then by chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasadam, we get the right intelligence. Krishna gives us the right intelligence and we behave properly according to scripture. That is the reason we do that. So once the women are in a cultured environment, then this doesn't qualify anymore because they will behave properly. But if there's no culture, then both the men and women will do all kinds of nonsense. But in a cultured environment, they are all well behaved. You will see that. So this is why we are trying to revive this God consciousness. So based on that, both men and women can live together in harmony. Otherwise it will be like cats and dogs.
But yeah, in that time they had a different lifestyle, but now both of them they work, so they are under tremendous pressure. So
true.
Can they still try to live that life, that kind of lifestyle?
No, the principles to protect the wife and should still apply, yes. But yeah, the society has changed a bit, so women will work, men will work. As I said, because the qualification is not there anymore. But if you follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, both the women and men are intelligent enough. When they chant, they get the right understanding, they will work accordingly. Right? When you want to raise a child, you want your child to do good, right? So naturally you will do the right things for the child. So therefore, if you want to have harmony in the family, right, someone must give in. So the men should be strong enough to tolerate. So that's how you raise the culture slowly to that original standards. But it won't be the same, like Draupadi and Kunti and all that. They are really on a super scale.
Different level.
Totally different. So we have our limitations, but we can aspire to be as good as them. They are our standards, role models. So you say, okay, I can do certain things, I can do this, yeah. I can't do this, definitely, but I can do this. So we follow like that. That way you live a harmonious lifestyle. For example, if both parents have to work, then you have to work. But at the same time, let's say if you earn sufficiently and if you have a standard home, normal home, why would you want to work so hard to buy a bigger house and then pay more taxes and work like a dog? Why? Correct or not? So that is the intelligence you have to develop. Both parties can agree and so on. Or you work so hard all the time and then your children is not being raised by both parents. They don't see the parents, maybe once a week. Who raises them? The TV and the nannies. So therefore, what culture are they going to get? So that again raises unwanted progeny. So when you understand what is good for the future generation, then you'll make adjustments in your lifestyle also. You will make your own adjustments. That's intelligence. By chanting nicely, taking prasadam, your good intelligence will come and you'll say, no, we shouldn't be doing this, we need to. Just like I know many families, devotee families, where they do homeschooling. Why do they do homeschooling? Why?
Because they don't want their kids to be influenced by what is being
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And they know the values that they learn outside is detrimental for the child itself. So therefore they are doing homeschooling. And they do better than the kids in the school actually. Because at home they have so much affection and love, and then they enjoy the way to study. Whereas in school you get bullied, you do all, and nowadays you don't even know whether the school is safe or not. Right? There's so many problems and so. But we start at a certain level. So some of the reasons Arjuna gives is women get polluted, unwanted progeny, and if you destroy a family tradition and all, then you will lead a hellish life. Okay? And then he says, if there's no more traditions and so on, the culture itself is destroyed. Community projects, family welfare acts, all this will be gone. The duties of the four orders, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, the Sudra, they all are in chaos. The mercantile, the business, the teachers, everything will be broken down. So therefore, there's no systematic way for them to advance culturally. So Arjuna is putting forward these arguments because he has heard this from other sources also. He's not making up his own argument. This is based on scriptural authorities that he has heard from. So that's why he's putting his argument to Krishna. If also in the Varnashram system, when your parents die, the son is supposed to do some prayaschita or what do you call Shraddha. Now, Shraddha. So now, if this tradition is gone, then no one is going to do those purification rites. So therefore he says, I don't want to be responsible for that. That's his argument. So we'll stop here. So tomorrow we'll start from 44 and finish the chapter. Thank you for coming. Text 41. Shankaro Narakayaiva
Shankaro Narakayaiva
Kulagnanam Kulasya Cha
Kulagnanam Kulasya Cha
Vadanti Pitaro Hiyesham
Vadanti Pitaro Hiyesham
Lupta Bindo Dakakriya
Lupta Bindo Dakakriya.
Translation. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. Ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Radha writes in the purport, according to the rules and regulation of fruitive activities, that means in the Karma Kanda section, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu, because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful actions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. So that's the point. If you are not doing bhakti, then you are required to do these rituals. Which means if you are doing devotional service to Krishna, you don't have to do this ritual, this pinda. One who is engaged in devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. So this is the reason why, if you are a devotee, if you don't have to do this ritual for your forefathers and so on. Because as a devotee, automatically you will deliver hundreds and thousands of your ancestors, not only ancestors, future generations also. So therefore it's better to do devotional service than do pinda. And when you do pinda or this ritual, it's only for one level or two level up only. And that's only to relieve their misery, but not to liberate them. But if you do devotional service, even your parents, grandparents can all go back to the spiritual world because of your devotion. Isn't that a good deal? Isn't it? So that's very nice to know that. And therefore, once understanding that, you take up the process of bhakti, Krishna bhakti, then you don't have to worry about these rituals. And then Prabhupada quotes the Bhagavatam verse, anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Mukunda means the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind or forefathers. So basically, when you are born, you owe your existence to who? From a material point. Your parents, not only your parents, the doctor, the nurses, that's on the first day. Not only that, you also owe your existence to the demigods, for they supply your body, the movement of your body, the way you see, the way you talk. All this they also give some blessings, as well as the sages who are praying for the benefit of humanity up in the Himalayas. And other living entities also are responsible for where you are in your life sometimes. So therefore there's so many people you actually owe your existence to. And it's not going to be easy, because you don't know who was there when you were conceived or when you took birth or so on. So you don't know. You cannot go looking for each and every individual in the universe to say, are you responsible for this, are you responsible? It's not possible. I mean, it is doable, but it's kind of impossible. Therefore, the best system is to worship Krishna. If you worship Krishna, automatically everyone else will be pleased. Just like the example I gave yesterday about the root, watering the root instead of watering the leaves. Okay. So that's a good point to understand. Practically in India, this is what the pinda is all about. They like to do. It's based on karma kanda activities and its rituals. A lot of rituals they follow. But sometimes they do it out of ignorance also, without fully understanding what it is. So periodically they give food and water to their forefathers. Because they may know maybe my father is a sinful man, definitely he'll be suffering in hell. So then they do this pinda to relieve the suffering. But better than that is if you worship Krishna and then you give prasadam to your forefathers, and then they get greater relief. In fact, they'll be released from that sinful existence or that punishing position or wherever they are punished. Okay. So if you are in devotion service, you don't need to do pinda or other rituals. Okay. Alright, let's go to text 42. Dosevitai kulagnanam
Doshete kulagnanam
varnashankara-karakai
varnashankara-karakai
utsadyante jati dharmaha
utsadyante jati dharmaha
kuladharmascha shashvataha.
kuladharmascha shashvataha.
Translation: by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastating. So Arjuna is giving more and more reasons why he doesn't want to fight. So here he is bringing up about community projects and family welfare acts. They are important because they ensure some structure in the society that you are existing. So Prabhupada says community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities. Four orders of human society means? No, it means they are the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the administrative class, and then the mercantile class, or the Vaishyas, and the laborer class. You need all this in a society like this. Combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma, or in another sense, Varnashram Dharma. That means this system is actually from the Vedas. It is not man-made. And you will find out in the next third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna explains that he set this up. Now you can see among yourself, or even within your own family, you can see if you may have a few children, one of your kids may be more intelligent or only intellectual, and another one is more physical, only wants to do physical acts. So they are already different, even though they are coming from the same parents. So therefore the caste system that is operating in India, it's totally man-made. Whereas the real caste system is based on one's nature, guna and karma. It's not janma and karma. So you could be born from a Brahmin father, but your nature could be a Shudra. So that must be understood properly. Otherwise it's just chaos, which is what we see in India. It's chaos.
The odds are always higher if you are born in that. There are always public exceptions.
Yeah, true.
But the odds are higher.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a guarantee.
It doesn't make you a...
Yeah. The other point you should understand, even if you're born and you have that nature but you don't use it, then you are also of that class that you are joining to like birds or feathers which flock together. So that means you can have a Brahminical quality and you can also have a Vaishya quality. And then depending which one you are attached to, that is what you're going to display sometimes. In Kali Yuga predominantly our qualities are mixed like anything. But if you follow devotional practice, you can attain Brahminical qualities. Actually beyond that, transcendental qualities. And that's what Krishna is talking about. But we have to understand, whether we like it or not, that structure is there. Some people will do this kind of activities, some people will do intellectual activities, some people like to administer people like Kshatriyas, like warriors. So you see people join the army, some, because they like to go there and fight and, so they have that nature. You can't change certain things, okay? Okay, so that the purpose is that they can perform their duties according to their nature. So that's why the Varnashram system is set up there. And so Arjuna is arguing, if you break that system, then it will be chaos. How would you like a laborer to run the country? Someone who only knows how to, break stones and so on, you put him as a king, can he manage the kingdom properly? Not necessarily, or he can't. Because he doesn't have the capacity or the ability to understand how to, judge certain situations in a proper way. He won't have that ability. So therefore, Arjuna is saying, if this system is broken, then I'm actually responsible for breaking the system. So I don't want to be sinful because of that. I don't want to get that sinful reaction. And I don't want to see this chaos in society. And ultimately he says, Prabhupada actually explains, if we don't have a system in place, then people will do anything they want, right? It's normal. And then, which means they will only do things that their senses feel good. So they will give up on the worship of Vishnu or Krishna. Because it's too much hard work. Austerities you have to do, cannot do this, cannot do that. Actually, that's a problem because whenever we meet new people, I have seen, every time we say, don't do this, don't do that. But that's not it's not an enforcing problem. We should have a positive way of telling people what they can do. Can eat a lot of prasada, say all the positive things instead of always putting the all the don'ts. There's so many things you can do also. You live a good life, you have a healthy life, you can speak so many things. You get to see, go to spiritual world, you get to see Krishna, you get to see God, That's all positive. So then he feels when he does all this, the aim of life is lost, people lose that, and then what happens? They will just fight among themselves. And then you'll find the leaders also don't know what to do, which is what you see nowadays. Right? They really don't know how to help the common people. What is our leaders doing now? They are only worried about their coffers. Right?
No, as you said, maybe that's what it reflects. Most of the countries are ruled by Sudras.
Yes. Prabhupada says that.
India especially.
Well, he says, if you read his conversation in one place, he says the Americans are Vaishyas and the Russians are Shudras. I mean, but everyone is there. And he says Vaishyas and Shudras always fight. Because one of them is always trying to make money and the other one is saying, give me more money. So it's good for us to understand that these problems will prevail if we are not spiritual. And therefore we need to adjust our lifestyles to be more spiritual. And then we minimize this kind of feelings among our own colleagues also. Too much materialism going on. Everything is you pay or you have to have it. Like every year or every 6 months, these tech companies will come out with a new product, right? Like Apple, for example. Everyone wants an Apple, but it's just a phone. But it's so prevalent now, the other companies cannot sell their phones, so everyone now has an Apple. Isn't that? Because everyone wants to think that's an in thing, isn't it? Yeah. But it's just a phone. Isn't it? You think about it, it's just a phone.
Yeah, but people can't live without it.
Huh?
Nowadays people can't live without a cell phone.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Huh? But actually, you shouldn't live like that. Because what is happening now, if you look at yourself also, you find that you tend to become more impersonal. That's one thing. The other thing is you lose patience. With the gadget you like, whatever you want you can hit and text or whatever, right? But when you talk to a person and the person is like questioning you all the time, you have no time for that. But then when they call you on the phone or text, then you have time for that. Have you seen that taking place? So that means it's really bad. We are actually personalists, so we shouldn't become impersonal.
You actually see that even worse in the kids.
Yeah, and therefore, when you raise your children, you must have standards. You must have protocols. And also you must have limitations. But now these kids have no limitations. So you have to introduce those things. Just because their friends don't do it doesn't mean you should also let your children grow up and become fools. So yeah, so I discourage, sleepovers and things like that. Because they learn bad habits and then you don't know as a parent what bad habits they learn. And then if they secretly take drugs and then you don't know, then before long it's too late to correct. Because I've seen it. I've personally seen children who have gone and done their own thing from very young age to adults, ruin their lives. Personally seen it, and it's a disappointment. Very nice kids also. But because parents don't want to, they feel that if they chastise or scold, the child will become angry with them and so on. I don't know where they get the idea. When we grew up, they say, spare the rod and spoil the child. So you don't spare the rod. My dad, when he opens the door, we will run away. Not that we didn't love him, it's just that we know we have to, be good kids, But nowadays the kid talks back. I've seen it. 4 years old, 5-year-old arguing with parents, And the reason is parents nowadays are not acting like parents. There's a difference between parenting and being a friend. Most of the culture nowadays, if you watch the TV programs, I'm sure most of you are watching, you see they have a little kid talking like a big adult, But what does the kid know really? So they emphasize that kind of, they think it's cool, but actually it's not cool. So it's the opposite. So you find that parents should be parenting. That means you should tell them what they know. How would the kid know what is right and wrong? A 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. So I've seen it one time. A parent, they were going. This was, I think, one festival at our temple. So the parents, they were going, and this kid was shouting, "I want to go home now!" And he was like 6, 7 years old. And the parents are, the curtains are open, we haven't seen the dailies. He said, "No, you cannot go in there. I want to go now." So then the parents decided, they said, "Okay, let's go." And I was standing there. I said, "Hold on. What's the problem?" Because I heard the whole conversation. So they say, "Well, he wants to go home, and he really wants to go home, and he doesn't want us to go." I say, "Well, what is more important?" So the parents in front of the kids say, "Actually, we should go to the temple and see the monks." I say, "You came all the way, 40-minute drive, and the curtains were closed, so they went to take prasadam, and then the curtains opened when they finished prasadam, and they didn't want to go in because the kid was throwing a tantrum." And then the mother said to the kid, say, "Let's go in and take darshan." The kid goes, "No, I don't want to go." Then I said, "Leave the kid here and you all go." And they did that. He was like furious. So the reason is they give in so much, and they think, the kids think they are equal. But it's not equal. A parent is on a different level and a child is on a different level. So parenting is that, you tell and guide them. And then later on when they are older, you become their friends. Not when they are 2-year-old, 3-year-old and friendly and talking on the same level. It's impossible. You cannot change that. So that's a sidebar. Let's get that. So, because it is part of society, and I think you all need to know. That's why Alright, then let's continue. Text 43. Text 43. Utsanna kula dharmanam
Utsannakula dharmanam
Manusyanam janardana
Manusyanam janardana
Narake niyatam vaso
Narake niyatam vaso
Bhavati ti anusushruma.
Bhavati anusushruma.
So Krishna, maintainer of the people. So the word janardana means maintainer of the people or sustainer of the people. I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. So he's not saying that this is what I think. He's saying, I've heard by disciplic, that means it's coming from proper channels. So he's not making up some issue with Krishna. So he's telling Krishna, this is why I don't want to fight, because I don't want to be the destroyer of family traditions. So that's his further argument to Krishna. So you can understand here that knowledge is received through disciplic succession. That means, what is the benefit of disciplic succession is that you don't have to go and do any more research. They've already sussed it out and they're going to tell you this is the best way to do. So you have the benefit of the experience already. You don't have to go and do the experiment again to find out whether it works or not. This is also you find in present society. When you tell younger generations, don't do this, it's not good for you. They say, why? I want to try it out. That's what they say, most often. So you can see that the intelligence is of a different nature. It is said that a very intelligent person learns just by hearing. And then the second best is by watching. And then the third class one is he will hear and watch and he will still do it. And then the fourth class is here, he watch, he does it, and then he knows it's bad and he continues doing it. So we have to see what class we want to be. It's amusing when we are out of the context of the whole picture, but sometimes we are also part of the problem. So this is good to know. So disciplic succession is very important in the Vedic culture, and it is based on authority. It's also based on trust and honesty. That means the teacher shouldn't abuse his position or his or her position. They're meant to provide or guide people properly. So that's very important. So same way, the parent is also a guru to the child. So therefore, the onus is on you not to cheat or be dishonest with your children or to someone who you are guiding. Because it is important so that people can develop a higher consciousness based on trust and love. Otherwise it's meaningless. The Vedic culture is actually based on loving relationships. And so if you find that when you grew up in your homes and so on, you didn't have so much affection, or so, that means they are not practicing the Vedic culture properly. Because if you read the pastimes of Krishna, you see how much affection and love he has for his brothers, for his cousins, and his sons and wives and so on. So there's so much love and affection. So that's the Vedic culture. But present day it's not. It's you love somebody because you want to get something from them now, right? So how much I can get from this person. So I'll show some affection. Then he will either put me in his will or he'll give me some discount or something. You smile at the person. It's all so artificial. Whereas in the Vedic culture, the goal was the welfare of that person. how I can help this person so that he or she can be successful in that life. What is that success? To become self-realized. So therefore there was an onus on each individual, collectively, as society and so on. So therefore disciplic succession had a very high ranking. Now you can sort of understand why it's important. So try to read with that in your heart, that whatever you are learning in the Bhagavad Gita, you can give it to someone for their benefit as well. So then at least the Lord will, you know that if you connect someone with Krishna, you are pleasing the Lord also. You'll feel happy actually. And then, and it's not a selfish thing, it's actually selfless, because you are wishing their welfare. When you don't have such understanding or knowledge, then you become selfish. Because, goal of life, if you don't know goal of life is to go back to the spiritual world, then what is the goal of life? What is the goal of life for most people?
Please Krishna?
Yeah, sense enjoyment, that's all. They think I want to be happy. But it's very relative if you look at what happiness is for most people, right? They did some research study, and they found a few years ago that the most happiest people were the third world country people. Bangladesh. Because they didn't have anything to worry about.
I thought India is all.
No, not
We are richer, better than Bangladesh, no?
Bangladesh is probably the most.
They get further every year, but no.
It was interesting to read such articles. Whereas the wealthiest countries had, they weren't ranked higher.
Okay, US used to rank very high, but I think it has
No,
dropped
US is
quite
worse.
significantly. I think.
But I thought India's philosophy is everybody thinks anything bad happens, they think it's their karma.
Nowadays, I don't think so.
Used to.
Yeah, that was during our grandparents' time.
Right.
But nowadays it's not. Nowadays they have put aside the Vedic culture. They feel the Vedic culture inhibits their material progression. They see material progression as the all in all. So they don't want anything to do with spirituality.
Often people tend to blame destiny, like something goes wrong, then they say that you are destined to,
Yeah.
be like that. And some people, they say that no, you get what you do. So, like as a parents, people, they want all their kids to be, to excel, to well, be good, So, but as you said that, same parents, but different kids, they have different characters.
Exactly.
So, can they mold them? They try to make them, all nice and good, but.
See, what I'll tell you, the problem is most because you don't have the culture anymore, then you don't know how to deal with the children anymore as well. That cultural knowledge will give you how to deal with certain individuals in your family. For example, most Indian, I don't know if you mixing it, but I'll tell you, most Indian family, the parents will tell the child, you have to be a doctor, engineer or lawyer. That's from the time they are born. But they don't think about what their nature is, or what the affinity of that child is. They don't encourage those things. And that's not a good thing. They may, and I know a kid or two who became doctors, and they're very unhappy. They say, I earn so much, but I'm not happy. I want to do something my parents never left me. These kids are in America. Because they don't know how to. And so, but if you know exactly the nature of the child, you encourage and the child in that field that he or she loves to go with. Sometimes you get a kid who's very artistic, talented, right? Oh, this is good, you will be unhappy, blah, blah, you go and be an engineer. he or she will struggle and then get their degree and then they're still unhappy. You see all these things. And that's the reason.
Yeah, kids are under tremendous pressure from the parents. They want them to
What to speak about in school and university, the
choose a
pressure.
career that will bring more money.
But money is not happiness. As we already said, the research showed that third world country Bangladesh is more happier. At least few years ago.
You are from Houston, right? Probably.
I am currently staying there, yes.
Yeah, a lot of families in Sugarland there.
Yes.
From a lot of families from Bihar,
Yeah.
and the tough competition between the families, the parents. They all want to send their kids to MIT or Harvard, and they all want to become.
I mean, it's nice to be successful, but you should let the person develop properly also.
Career driven.
It's based not on career actually, it's based on dollars. Which career gets the most money, that's where they tell the child. No, let the child develop their propensity, maybe it's something in this or that. Maybe it may not even give them the most money, but they'll turn out to be one of the best personalities you ever met. Don't you want that, rather than someone who's just working hard just to make some money and a very unhappy person? Or someone who's fully realized knowledge. In the Vedic system, right, in the Varnashram system, even the laborer is happy. The Shudra is happy, the Vaishya is happy, the Kshatriya is happy, and the Brahmanas are happy. Because they all work to help each other. The Brahmana prays and does rituals for the other three classes. The Kshatriya protects the other three classes. The Vaishya supplies for the other three classes. The Shudra does labor for the other three classes. So they're all in tandem. It's a very scientific system. But if you take out the concept of God, then it becomes selfish. So therefore, instead of cohesive existence, you become more divisive. Yeah, these are some things. I'm sure you have kids, no? Yeah. Okay, so then don't force the kid. Find out what he or she likes to do and encourage them in a positive way. They shouldn't feel, oh man, my parents are going to get on my case. Because I've seen it when the kids cannot. Let's say you want them to do medicine, but they hate chemistry. So they fail the chemistry exam. So what do? You jump on them and curse them and so on. So how they feel? That's not the way. If they can't do it, that's fine. That's okay. Do you need help? Do you want tuition? No. Are you sure you really want to be this career, or do you want to do something else? So over the years, some family members, at least in Houston, the parents have learned that they cannot force the child. So I've seen that also. And it's very nice, they have a good relationship. And the kids are very nice because they're not under any pressure, at least at home. They have at least a sanctuary to come to. Otherwise, where would they go? Pressure in school, pressure at home, then they resort to some drugs or some nonsense. Anyway, coming back. So Arjuna is using his arguments based on what he heard in a disciplic succession. And also, Prabhupada says there is a system in the Varnashram institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called Prayaschitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activity. So generally in the old Vedic system, they are so honest that they know they have been nonsense. So before, as they get old, they will do some of this process to atone for their sinful life. Or they'll do charity, they'll give everything that they accumulated, and then they ask for forgiveness from the devatas or from the Supreme Lord Himself. So that is the system Prabhupada is talking about. Otherwise, if they don't do that, they will go to hell. So, but if you are a devotee, you don't have to worry about this. Because Krishna will protect you. Next 44. Aho bata mahat papam kartum yavasita vayam yadrajya shukalobena antum swajanam udyataha. So from verses 44 to 46, he gives his, he's leading up to his fifth reason for not fighting. So what are the 4 reasons he has given so far for not fighting?
Relationship.
Unwanted children.
The first reason, what was the first reason?
Compassion.
Compassion. Second one is?
Their creators.
No, he said, I cannot enjoy if I kill my relatives.
Right.
Right? I want to enjoy with them. Most people want to enjoy with someone. Right? My relatives are there, I can't show off and so on. And then?
I want to break with a separate succession.
Let's see. No.
Tradition.
Yeah. He didn't want to destroy family traditions. And then
Sin.
the last one is
Sin.
sin. So these are the 4 he has thus said. And now he's leading to the 5th one, which is doesn't know what to do, indecision. I don't know whether to fight or not to fight. So that's what this is leading to. So translation. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Yadimam na pratikaram ashastram shastrapanaya dartrastra hanyus tanme shemataram bhavet. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So he wants to show his compassion here. Text 46. Sanjaya Vacha Evam Muktvajjuna Sankhe Ratopasta Upavishat Vishvijyasa Sharam Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. So here you see again in the last 3 verses his compassion comes up. Basically he shows that this Arjuna is actually a saintly person because he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to retaliate. He said, let them kill me. They can have the property, they can have the kingdom. Kshatriya is supposed to fight. Whoever comes and say, I want to fight, they must say, yeah, sure, where, what time. But he's just taking the whole position of, no, I'll just take the saintly stand. And then he, particularly in this verse, Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Okay. So he had vowed that he will never put down his bow Gandiva. But when he saw all this, his uncles, his grandfather, his teacher, it just overwhelmed him. And you can see from here that he's actually a kind and soft-hearted person. That's why he doesn't want to fight. And therefore, because he is kind and he is soft-hearted in the devotional service, he is fit to hear about self-realization. So that's one of the qualities that one needs. One has to have a soft heart to be able to understand the Supreme Lord.